Okay, now you've kind of got yourself familiar with the deck, you're going to want to start to actually use it to get a little bit of insight and, you know, answer some questions, which is the whole point of them, of doing tarot readings. So the first thing to do, or the first thing that's kind of the easiest to learn, is to do quick one-card readings. These are great. They're not just a learning kind of mechanism. When I'm reading professionally, I still have people ask for quick one-card readings. They're great for little questions or just getting a general idea of something. So first thing you want to do, especially if you're just using your deck, is make sure it's well shuffled. People have lots of different little rituals for this. My personal one is I shuffle it like this 3 times, and then I cut it 3 times. Sorry, no, I cut it once. Shuffle it 3 times, cut it, shuffle it 3 times, cut it. So basically, yeah, that's just how I do them. There's no hard and fast method to this. And there's lots of little different things. If you look into kind of different tarot books and history, and you'll find all sorts of little rituals that people go through with their cards. But really, it's whatever you find you're comfortable with. But yeah, especially if it's the first time you use them, then don't just shuffle it a set number of times. You know, make sure you really work with it just to get them mixed up well. These cards, because I've had them in order to date and make the videos, because I had them placed in the correct order from 0 to 21, these feel really nice to work with. You'll hear a lot about, like I say, if you look online or in magazines or things, about cleansing your cards or cleansing your tools, and you know, making sure you don't get a build-up of energy on them and things like that. And one of the ways to do that is to put the deck back into order, which when you've got like 22 cards is pretty, you know, it's pretty easy. That's fine. When you're working with a 78 card deck, that's a lot of cards to put in order and take back up. You don't need to do it all the time. You know, it depends how much you're using your cards, but you feel they start to get a bit heavy. Is that the right? You know, you can tell when you're shuffling them, you kind of, they don't feel great. As a general rule of thumb, I mean, I read with my cards a lot, so I tend to do it about once a, sometimes I do it once every couple of days, depending how many readings I've done. But you know, generally, you know, once a month. Like, people will leave them out. One way of doing it is to leave them out in the light of the full moon, which, you know, that's a pretty easy one to do. With some of my other tools, like with my stones, with the oracle stones, I put a little lump of citrine in the bag, and you could do that with tarot cards as well. You can pass them through smoke or incense, but anyway, yeah. When your cards start to feel a little bit like they're just not working for you, or they're not, you know, you're not getting as clear messages from them, just try clearing them. Like I say, either put them in order and then put them all back in the right order, or one of those other methods will work fine. Okay, so basically, to get yourself a reading using one card, you just need to decide what question you're going to ask and set that quite firmly in your head. It doesn't have to be anything massively specific, just for kind of the purpose of practicing. So, okay, say for instance, I am going to ask, you know, we've got friends coming up this weekend. We've got lots of plans, you know, how is this weekend going to be? How is this weekend going to go? That's the question I want to ask. So keeping that in my head, I'm going to cut the deck. And I'm drawn to the top of that way. Some people go for the bottom, some the top. I'm going to go for the top of this one. And you deal the card out and then you flip it over. Okay, so that's good. 21, which is this card. It's 8 come up the right way up. And it is the World, which is about sort of fulfillment and having a good time. Which makes sense to me, because this is the first time we've had a lot of people here since the house has been, we moved up here a few months ago, and it's the first time we've had people up when the kids have really got their rooms the way they want, and we've actually finished unpacking everything now, and kind of having with friends that will be like the icing on the cake. So that makes sense, and that's a really good positive card. What could have happened is it could have gone up like this, inverted. Now, if you get a card up inverted, as you can see from the meanings we had above, it usually means kind of the opposite of the right up meaning. So if I got this up, I would go, oh no, something's going to go wrong. People aren't going to be able to get up here. There's going to be travel complications. You know, they're going to be unable to complete their journey here, or it's, you know, there's something going to go wrong with the planning. That would be what I would have taken from that card. So that's kind of a quick example for you. I'm going to do another one just to give you sort of an idea of how I'm pulling the answers out of just the general meanings of the cards. Trying to think of what else I can ask this actually. What else can I think? I'm going to be shuffling them well again. Okay, I know. We need to go and do some work tomorrow with regards to our sort of business that we run. And we need to meet up with some people, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to meet up with them or how that's going to go. So, am I going to get that bit of business I need to get done tomorrow finished? Is it going to get finished and completed? So, Tower. And you know, this is an interesting one because the Tower is about getting an understanding from things not going exactly as planned. So what I'm getting from this is that I'm not going to get it done tomorrow, but I'm still going to get some useful information. I'm going to get some useful information, but it's going to not be quite as I plan to get it. So generally still quite a good card. If it had come up again, you know, like I say, that time it came up the right way up. If it had come up inverted, like this, I'd have went, oh no, I'm going to have messed up somewhere. And it's not going to go right. And it's going to be my fault. So that kind of shows you how you're pulling the answers out of the deck. Obviously, when you're reading with just the major cards, you can't do big spreads, but you can't. But at the same time, you don't have to just do the one card readings. You can do 3 card readings with just the major cards as well. You could stretch it. Some people say you can do up to 5 card readings. I probably wouldn't. I would stick to the 3 card ones. I think you get more. I think if you go to 5 cards, you really need to. You're really looking at sort of intricacies that you need to be reading with a full deck for, to be honest. But 3 card readings you can do, and there's 2 layouts, and they are underneath here. There's a diagram of them as well. Well, it's 3, but it's 2 different set pans. Now the first one is called. The first one we're going to look at. I'm not sure which order I'm putting them in below the video, but the first one we're going to look at is past, present and future, and it's exactly the same layout for heart, mind and soul as well. What you would look at, the one I'm going to do is past, present and future, but you actually deal it future, past, and no, you actually deal it. You deal it present, past and future. You will see when I do this. Do you like the way I'm leaving in the mistakes here? So you know. I'm not perfect. Anyway, we knew that already. So yes, these readings are really good if you're looking at a particular situation that's been going on for a while. Or if you just want a more general reading with a particular element of your life. Again, normally do readings for myself yet. Okay. What can I do reading for? Oh, the kids are playing up a little bit. They're getting a little bit unsettled because we've switched their bedrooms around. And one of them, bless them, does not like change, apparently. So, let's see what comes up with regards to that within the reading. I'm just going to cut these another time because to make sure. You can't see these, can you? I'm going to have to move them. Okay. Yay! Okay. So we have the present in the middle there. And this is coming up with 14. Now this card it's peace in this pack, but traditionally this is the temperance card. So what this is telling me is that it is a complicated situation that I need to find my way around. It's not any one little thing, and so it's going to take a little bit of careful picking of actions and how to handle it. But to come up the right way up, so it does mean, you know, we are going to be successful in doing that, and it is going well what we're doing at the minute to try and address the issues they're having, but it's not going to be straightforward. What we can also look at is the past to see what past influences we need to keep in mind when looking at the situation now. Okay, so it's interesting. We've got fate coming up inverted. In a traditional deck, this is the Wheel of Fortune. Basically, what this card means is that, certainly in this situation, is that when there's had to be changes in their space in the past, they haven't always been good ones, and they haven't necessarily come about through good circumstances, which is very, very true, because we had to do a couple of emergency house moves, and they didn't go brilliantly. And so yeah, so that makes perfect sense. They've been moved a lot and they didn't like it, and it wasn't in the best circumstances, which is now giving me back to a present card, yeah, which is now, you know, making it quite a complicated thing to have to deal with in order to get them to accept the moving of houses and bedrooms and all those kind of things, which is fine. Okay, now the last card we have here is the future one. So let's see what that comes up with. Okay, this has come up with the moon card, but it's come up with it inverted. So what this is telling me here is basically it's telling me off. It's saying, you know, although it's a complicated situation, I may be overthinking things, and I may be kind of adding to the issue by throwing too many different solutions at it at once. Which is kind of true, because it's like, yeah, we won't just try bedtime story, we'll try bedtime story and giving them a nightlight and putting lavender oil in their baths before bed. And okay, so that's basically telling me to stop messing with it quite so much. So that's the insight we've got off that 3-card reading. So you can see how the meanings of the cards, by looking at them one at a time and in the places that they're in, give us an insight of the issue we're looking at. Okay, the other one we're going to look at is heart, mind and soul. Now this is a little bit of a, it's not bad tarot spread. It's not, there's nothing wrong with doing this tarot spread. I'm defending it already. Basically, this one we use, one of the most common readings I get asked for when I'm doing tarot professionally is love life, relationship readings. And basically what this card, this spread does is gives you a look at somebody else's motivations and thought processes and feelings. So if people are wondering how their partner or potential partner is viewing them, this spread quite often gets pulled out. It also gets used for people in any social or family situations where you're not sure what's going on with someone or what they're thinking about. You know, people are like, oh, I've been called in for a meeting with the boss next week and I don't know what it's about. You know, what's going on with them? How are they viewing the situation? Things like that you can use this spread for. It's quite a good one. And it's the same dealing pattern as the last one. I'm going to have to think quite carefully before I do this. Because if someone I know watches this video and it's the person I use for this, I'm going to be in trouble. I know what I'll do. We'll go the same situation as we looked at before with the kids having a bit of a difficulty adjusting to their new bedrooms. I'm going to look at this from, like I said, one of my children's fine with it. The other ones, they're not distressed. They're all right. They're just, you know, taking a bit of a while to get their head around it. So we're going to look at it from their point of view. And we're going to get a glimpse at it through their eyes and see how they're feeling about the situation using the heart, mind and soul. Did I say heart, mind and body before? Didn't I? Heart, mind and soul layout. to get a glimpse of what's going on with the situation. Okay. Heart, mind, soul. Let me see this. I see I'd actually put them in the right places this time for the camera to be able to pick them up. Sort of, almost. Okay. So let's start with the heart. Let's look at the way that they're feeling emotionally about this. The Hanged Man coming up upside down. Okay, they feel that it's they're feeling a little bit overwhelmed. It's basically what that's telling me. You know, they're just, that's their general basic emotional feeling, is they're feeling overwhelmed with the situation and they don't like it. Now, it's quite interesting that's come rather than sort of fear or apprehension, it's overwhelmed. So that this kind of is interesting because you think, well, what leads someone to feel overwhelmed? Which is why we go to the mind card so we can see what they're thinking. So, okay. Okay, so we've got the Pope card come up. Traditionally in a traditional deck, this is your High Priest card, and again, it's come up inverted. So this is telling me they think they're being lied to. I can kind of see why that's come up actually, because in the past, let's say we've had a couple of emergency house moves and they've been told one thing and something completely different ended up happening. So that's possibly telling me that they don't trust me when I'm telling them these are their rooms now and they get to keep them forever. Well, not forever, but you know, we're not moving anymore, which was the question that kept coming up. So that's, yeah, I didn't think they'd still be thinking that, but okay. Okay, so basically they're feeling overwhelmed because their little brains are running on tick over because they're not sure if what Mummy's telling them is happening is actually what's happening, or whether they're going to end up in a different situation again. The Soul card. This kind of is the one that, it's kind of the balance between the heart and mind, and it's where their judgment is pointing to, because you know everyone has conflicts between their emotions and their logical thought. So this kind of gives you the indication of where that balance is going to hit and what kind of thoughts and emotions and response they're going to come up with from the other two cards. So got the Death card. This is actually really good. I'm liking that. Everyone panics when they see the Death card, especially because it's come up the right way up, which is really good, because this is about sort of new understanding and new starts. So for all at the minute, they're feeling a little bit overwhelmed and they're not sure what's happening. That ultimately the situation they're in at the minute is going to lead them to understand that sometimes things don't work out quite the way even the adults planned, and sometimes it is a little bit upsetting, but it all works out in the end, which is really good. I like this. I like that. This could have gone so wrong for me doing these as part of a video tutorial, but that's really good. Okay, so again, shows you that spread. We know what it is. Okay, trying to think what what else I'm going to do now. The other spread we're going to do is a week, a month, and a season. Again, this is if there is a general, if there's an ongoing situation that you're looking at and you want to see how it's going to play out over a longer period of time, you would do this reading. And basically it does what it says on the tin. It's like the first card will tell you what's happening in the very immediate future around the kind of 7-day period. Next one will tell you how the situation develops or where it's going to be in a month's time. And the third one is season, where it's going to be in 3 months' time. So yeah, basically, okay. That was a card jumping the deck. And basically, nothing ever happens by accident in tarot. If you get a card that leaps the deck or jumps the deck, that kind of just comes out of your hands, you need to leave it out. It's kind of taken as a sign that it is a significant card. This one has come up with Virgin. Now, it's interesting that the reading I was going to do, I hadn't told you this yet, but the thing I was going to look at during this was going to be, you know, we've recently started a new business. We started in the summer and how that develops. And this just popped out. Now, this is the, it's the Virgin card in this deck, but traditionally it's the High Priestess. And this is basically saying that the way it's coming through, it can mean a couple of different things. But to me, this is saying that there is going to be a female lead on this. And what happened was, when we started the business, I always thought that my partner would manage it and I would kind of help out. And what's kind of happened so far has been that I've managed it and he's done most of the work, but actually managing it as a business has been done by me, which kind of makes sense because he's never been self-employed before and I haven't. But I kind of figured, oh, he'll take over eventually and I won't do anything. And apparently not. Apparently I'm managing the business. Fine, I can live with that. That's fine. Okay, I'm not including that as part of the reading, as part of the spread. But if you get a card that jumps the deck, you know, once it's out, it stays out. So I'm just going to place this over here out the way while we do our reading. Now these ones get dealt with the last spread, which you dealt the middle, left and then right. This one just goes from left to right. Okay, so got them in nearly the right place again for the camera. Okay, so a week. The Shaman, which is normally the Hermit. Basically what this is saying is we need to think about things for the next week. Basically we need to sit back and make some decisions on what we're going to do before we do anything. So this is basically saying we need a bit of a period of planning, which I kind of already knew, to be honest with you, because the calendar's filling up and we need to work out not so much what we're doing, but how we're doing it and how we're fitting it in. And there's lots of forms to fill in at the minute. So that makes perfect sense. That's fine. That's kind of reinforcing that taking a week out from running around like headless chickens to just go, right, let's take a calming moment to move forward. That makes sense. That's brilliant. Confirms what I wanted to hear. Okay. And then we have the month card. Strength. Kind of coming up the right way up. It's very good. Like the right way of cards in these situations. This is basically saying over the next month there are going to be trying moments, and there are going to be things that come up that we doubt we can do, but we probably can. It's basically saying, you know, things are about to get busy, very busy, and a little bit chaotic. Why is this reading going wrong for me? But no, it's basically saying, you know, there's going to be a lot happening, and you know, it's going to be difficult. There's going to be a few obstacles. There's going to be things that need to get done that you don't necessarily want to do. But because it's come up the right way up rather than inverted, it means that we actually can do it. It's just going to be hard work, and it's going to mean, you know, probably throwing staplers at each other, trying to get paperwork done, which always happens when couples work together. But yeah, but generally a good card is just saying, you know, don't expect an easy ride. Have your week of planning, quiet time, and then be prepared for an absolute storm of chaos. Okay. And we have a season. Moon card, but this time it's coming the right way up. Yay! Basically, I like this card. What this is saying, it's a good card for me as well, working in what I do. This is basically saying go with your gut feeling, trust your intuition, don't be swayed. Yes, again, this makes sense. I mean, a lot of what we do is very sort of creatively based, and we do tend to go, yes, we think that will work, we will try it. But the bigger the events we do, and the more people get involved, occasionally you think you can overthink things. And because it's quite a creative business, we can't rely on logic too much. We do kind of have to go off our gut feelings, and that's basically what that's saying. It's like, you know, trust your instincts and don't rely too much on what looks good on paper and what other people will tell you will work. And that's basically what I'm taking from that reading. One thing I am going to say about these readings, like we've either had a mix of cards being inverted and the right way up, or we've had them all the right way up like we have here. Occasionally in a reading you will get the cards and they're all inverted, or you will get a large majority of them inverted. When that happens, rather than it being a case of they all mean the inverted meaning, you know, what it can mean is that the situation is developing outside of the person you're doing the readings for control, and they're relying on other people or outside circumstances, but it means they're not in control of the situation. There are too many other factors or another very strong factor influencing it that is taking control away from them. Whereas when you get them the right way up, or the majority of them the right way up like this, it means they're in control of the situation and they're the one making decisions that are making things happen. So that's something else to bear in mind when you're taking the meanings of the cards. But those are your basic meanings. And what I would like you to do for your second assignment is to do a 1 card reading for yourself on answering a question, and a 3 card one. And you can pick any of the 3 card ones, I don't mind which one, but I want you to do one of each. And I want you to write, you know, what card you got, what you took the meaning of it to be, and importantly, why you took that meaning. What was it about the card that made you think that and made you pull out the meaning that you did? Because like I say, you know, we've got the set meanings there, but you're never going to get that in a reading. You know, you will get something along the lines of this piece of imagery for some reason stood out at the card when I turned it over, and I link this with this piece of imagery. It's the same as when you did your attunement to the deck. You know, when you connected with the deck and you got certain little things stood out for you that gave you what the deck means for you. That happens on a more instant level when you're doing readings. When you're doing readings, you will flip a card, and part of the design you've never really paid much attention to before will just go bink, and you have to look at it and think, right, what do I associate with that image that I'm seeing? For me, if I see corn sheaths or a grain of corn, because they're on my oracle stones and mean work and career, then to me corn means work and career and success in work and career. To somebody else it could mean, oh, corn you harvested, it means a feast, it means a celebration. So it's whatever you associate with it. So that's why it's important to put in why you got that meaning out. So I know how you're working with them and how you're doing with connecting with the cards and pulling the meaning out and sorting that out in your head. So yes, if you can send me for your assignment, let's say a 1 card, ask the questions a card, do a 1 card draw and send that to me, and then any of the 3 card readings, any of the spreads, you just have to do 1. Well, do more than 1 obviously to practice, but you only have to write 1 up as the assignment. And the same thing, you know, what you asked, what cards came out, what you took the meaning of that to be, and why you took that as the meaning. Okay, so have fun and good luck. and I look forward to getting your assignments.